you don't know me, my name's Andy Blackburn. I'm a member of the SSA Executive Committee and Board of Directors. I'm also the primary liaison for the SSA's relationship with WEGlide. How many people in this room have a WEGlide account, signed up for a WEGlide account? It better be everybody because it's free. So, how many have a premium account? How many upgraded to a premium account? Good for you guys. You'll get more out of it, but the supporter account's pretty good too. Um, I just wanted to give a little bit of history of sort of how we got here. A couple of years ago, I got excited about the possibility of deploying OGN ground stations around the country, and we set out to have an SSA project to do that. And then we said, well, we're sort of stuck with this glideport.aero thing that's no longer supported, and it only supports satellite trackers. And gee, we probably should have a way to you know, replace that or upgrade that or make that better, make that better for the membership. And so I started scouting around for well, who does live tracking? And the guys who were doing a pretty good job was the WeGlide guys. And so I called them up and we sort of started talking about what could we do and what's possible, and could we do live, real-time scoring of contests so who's the leaderboard. And I had this vision that went back maybe 10 years. And what I discovered was that live tracking isn't actually the main thing they do. They do much, much more. And so it is a full-featured, web-based application, mobile application that helps you get more out of your flying and helps you share it with your friends, helps you compare your flights to others. It's the amount of things it does, it probably is overwhelming to anybody who's kind of gone around. So I'm going to ask one more question and then I'm going to hand it over. One of the other things we've decided, and Tony Smolder's sitting back here, is that making it easier for people to do sort of task-oriented flying and to set up little contests, with their friends at the local club and that sort of stuff. You can set up a contest day, a task that you and your friends can fly on your mobile phone, send it to all your friends, and go. And so there's no elaborate scoring or anything like that. So that seemed really compelling. So Tony raised his hand and said, let's go around the country and help clubs sort of get going with, let's go do some head-to-head kind of cross-country flying and see how that works out. And so far, I think the uptake's been pretty good. It's early days. It's an ambitious program for sure. But the WeGlide guys have been helping us, been there the whole time, helping us do that. So there's a lot we think we can do with the right kind of easy to use, easy to access technology platforms like WeGlide. How many people have actually programmed a task in WeGlide? So smaller number. We're going to talk about that. The guys are out on the show floor, and they will help you learn how to do that. It's not that hard. You just got to do it once and you're good. But I just wanted to make sure that I set a little context. We're super excited about the relationship with WeGlide. As I said, every SSA member has a free supporter subscription and a half-price upgrade to the premium. We did that on purpose because we thought it would be useful, of super high value for the membership, especially people who have aspirations to participate in cross-country flying of any kind. So thanks. Over to you.
So hi, my name is Josh. Yes, I'm part of the team. We are 6 young glider pilots, all out of Germany. We are the world's the biggest platform, and we are host of 7 national online competitions worldwide. So like the DMST in Germany, for example, or in Switzerland, Netherlands, Australia. But we also very, very focused in sharing stories in gliding, and everyone is welcome. So we are host of 7 national online competitions worldwide, but we are also very focused in sharing stories in gliding. So everyone is welcome to WeGlide and put up their flights. So if it's vintage gliders like the Schweizer here, also welcome. If you go on WEGlide.org, this will you get on your start page. We are highly focused on user-friendly experience, and it's quite easy to set up the language, for example, here in the upper right, without going to the settings. The upload flight button is quite easy accessible as well. And you get the overall daily ranking worldwide in the box. Do you see a mouse or something like that? Or a pointer? No, okay. So on the left-hand side, you get the worldwide ranking box. And the right one, you can customize what your interests are. So, I mean, in the US, it's a big country, and it's maybe important that you know what flights are in your region. So you can just put in the filters what you want, and click through this box on the left side. So here you can see I typed region 3, and you can see all flights happened in region 3 recently. But if you are interested in vintage gliders or stuff like that, you can add this filter as well and just browse through this box. You also can customize your own profile. Many pilots are using it for promoting their own gliding channels, like Stefan Lange here, for example, with his Instagram or YouTube channel. But also, if you have a gliding blog, like Clemens Seibeck has, you can promote it as well and reach more people. What's also very cool is the message button. You see it here, right, profile picture. And I use it really often to ask pilots about famous routes in their gliding area. When I go on gliding vacation, that's quite awesome. And there were also some cool interactions with the pilots. So feel free to use the message button and start communications with pilots from all over the world. I have to go back. You also can, if you want to follow the pilots, you can click the following button. And if you do that, the pilots will appear in your feed. It's below the upload button. And in the feed, we did a lot of work to show how gliding is and how it feels. And we say it's the best way to show your family and friends what gliding is all about when they ask you for gliding. Shortly, we introduced the videos as well. So when you are flying, you can upload videos, and the feed is the best way to display them. So it's a bit like Strava or Instagram. You can just browse flights from your friends and see all the cool stuff they do. Of course, we have the traditional scoring list as well. You access it in the sidebar when you go on flights, and on the top of that, you can filter almost whatever you want. So if you are interested in vintage gliders or in flights with photos only, or in flights that were launched by Winch, you can just put in the filter there, and you get only these flights in the scoring list. You can also put in distance filters. So if you are looking for flights bigger than, I would say, 1,000 kilometers, you can just put the filters. And you also can filter competitions if you want to. So if you want to do analysis like the DVGC in Uvalde, so I did it. I put in Uvalde in the filter box, and then I looked for tasks, and here's, for example, the task 8 in 80 meter class from the Uvalde VGC. And you get the scoring of the day on the left-hand side. And if you hover over the different pilots, the flight route will appear. And that's quite cool for IT tasks, for example. When you hover over the pilots, you can see the different routes quite quickly and see how the tactics was of the pilots. If you want to dive deeper, you can go in the statistics list. It's in the right down corner. And there are more statistics are displayed, and here it is bigger. So if you get green numbers on your flight, you are significant above average. And if you are if you get red numbers, you are significant below average. And there you can get out really fast what did pilots well on flight and what maybe not so good. What we can see here for the first place on the terminal statistics, that he got out the most altitude out of its terminals and did the strongest climbs as well. Also, he had a very good glide ratio, and he was in the greens there. And what's also interesting is that he not flew as aggressive. So you can see the average altitude on the right side. It was about 1,700 meters MSL. And this means this was his average altitude in the whole flight. And the small number below that, the 1,400 meters AGL, is the average altitude he entered the terminal. So you see he was also the highest one and also the highest one who entered the terminals. So not an aggressive pilot, but also first place on his day. When you click on a particular flight, or if you upload a flight, you get to your flight detail page. It looks like this, with a quite traditional layout. So you have the barogram below, the flight map, and on the left side are the statistics. And I don't want to go too much into this, but what I want to say is that we try to make troubleshooting really easy for you. So if there's any issue with your flight and it's not valid when you upload, you can just check the status. That's the 2 green dots. And if they are green, all is okay, but they also can be blue or yellow or something like that. And then you can just click it and you get immediately information what could be wrong with this flight. And then you can quickly evaluate what you can do to get the flight valid. Same is with your tasks you flew. So if the task is red, you didn't complete the task. And if you click on it, you see which turn point you missed. So obviously here it's quite clear. The pilot missed turn point 1. And then it says, yeah, you missed turn point 1. So quite easy troubleshooting. What you also can do is overlay satellite images. I do that a lot for training to interpret the satellite images. I fly with it a lot in flight, and doing it after the flight, it helps me a lot to look how the systems are moving and how the clouds look, and I can take it with me for the next flight. What you also can do is, if you click on the 3D button on the left button, you can review your flights in 3D, and it's also possible to put multiple flights in there when you flew with other pilots, and you can relive the flights in 3D, which is really amazing, especially in Alps. Like Andy mentioned, it's also possible to plan tasks on WEGlide. You can use our waypoints, or you can upload your own waypoints when you want to. If you plan the task, you can decide if you want to make it public or if you want to make it private. You can plan with SkySight when you integrate the weather there. And you can get a point calculation if you put in your glider. So if you want to know how much points WEGlide gives you for this task with your glider, you just enter the glider there and it will do the calculation for you pre-flight. I said that you can decide if you want to make it public or private, and when you do public, everyone can see your tasks. And I like this really because you can just, when you go on gliding vacation or stuff like that, you can just browse tasks, what local pilots are doing there and what tasks they are usually flying. So I always recommend to make the tasks public. If you are not too much into task flying, more into free flights, we implemented the segments. Segments are fixed tasks in public gliding areas. When you fly through the segment, you get automatically scored for it. You can see it here. The scoring will appear, and it's over more years, and it's quite cool to see different patterns, like when the segment is the fastest. So you can see this segment here is faster in the late year, And yeah, you can just browse through all segments we have worldwide. In the US, it's 12 segments at the moment. But if you have any suggestions for us, feel free to reach out to us, and we will implement the segments for you that you can fly them and compare to other pilots in this area. All these features are free for you. As Annie said, we committed with the SSA to do this. When you sign up to WEGlide and put in your US club, you just have to put in your SSA ID, and then you get it all for free. So now I want to give a small sneak peek into WEGlide Premium. So if you upgrade to Premium, you just have to pay the difference. So it's about $5 a month. Here I want to talk first a bit about WEGlide Coach. So when you analyze your flights, you can do it by yourself, of course. But when you want to do deep dives into speed to fly analysis and stuff like that, and calculating with the netto air mass movement, it gets quite complicated very fast, and it's lasting very long. So we try to do it for you, and that you can make fast analysis with fast conclusions. All you have to do is to put in your takeoff mass when you're uploading your flight. And then when you do this and click on the coach button in the left upper corner, all this appears on the left-hand side. So I always start with the free contest analysis. It's the box with the yellow 4, and click on it, and therefore you get 4 quick tips for this particular flight you did. This was a flight of mine, and you can see that coach says that I should have been flown faster between the terminals, that my climb rate decreases near the top and I should leave terminals earlier, that I'm quite a right circling guy, and I should have taken more water ballast with me. I do that a lot for quick checking before my next flight, to keep it in my mind, what did I on my last flight, and try to make it better. When you go deeper into the analysis, you can go to the speed to fly analysis. So as it was said, I should have been flown faster between the terminals. And you can see here, we calculate the indicated airspeed you did on this flight, and we calculate the net air mass movement you found on this flight, so the energy lines you found. And therefore we say, we give you the optimal speed you should have flown. And you can see here that I was way too slow. I've flown about 130 kph, and I should have flown about 160 kph. You can see it in the speed bars down below as well. The horizontal bar is the time I was in the speed range, and the vertical bars are the time I should have been there. So you can see the gray bar down below, I overshoot it completely, and I was way too long, way too slow. But on my flight, I found quite good terminals and should have flown with McCready 223 or above 3, but I didn't do that. So I almost spent no time in the speed bar. And in the optimal case, the horizontal bar should match with the vertical bar. We do the same split with terminals you flew in. So you can just hover over the barogram, and the coach will always adjust to this flight phase. We split the terminals in 5 parts. And you see here that my circling radius was okay. I was in the greens. But I should have left this terminal earlier, what I did a lot on this flight. So coach gave me the tip to leave terminals earlier. That's why I always try to concentrate a lot on finding good lines during flights, and it happens a lot to me that I try to relax during terminals. And maybe that's the case here, that it's always decreases near the top. We also do a ride analysis. You can see here that I found good terminals on this flight, and therefore coach says to me that I should be a bit heavier, and with my slow style of flying, I would have been a bit faster, but not significantly. So what are my quick learnings out of this? I think I should be a bit more optimistic with climb rates. So the weather on this day was not always good, so I flew a bit passive, but it was an A329 and I have to trust the polar and fly a bit faster, even if the weather looks not that good. And I came from LS4, so for this flight I said, okay, maybe the 160 kph is the new 130 for me, even in bad conditions. Then I said before, I always lay back when I have the thermal centered, so you see it here. I was concentrated by coring the thermal, but then I tried to relax because flying with the good lines was quite exhausting, and then maybe the thermal strength decreases and I should try to concentrate more on thermaling again and should find a bit more balance between cruise flight and thermaling. The weight analysis. It's important to say here that it calculates to my style of flying. So the speed gain is calculated with my slow style of flying. I did marginal gains here when I was heavier. And I always thought is when I began with cross-country flying, why were the other pilots faster than me? Maybe I should try to take just more water ballast with me and the water will do it for me and I will be faster. But at least you have to trust the polar and fly faster to get the most out of the water. So remember again, the 160 is my new 130 for this glider. So I did this calculation, I did this in about 5 minutes, and I do it always after my flights, put in the ride and get coached, and it's quite, I improved a lot from that in the last year. So maybe let's look to Stefan Langer, who won the 80-meter VGC in Uvalde this year, how his speed bars look like. So you can see here my speed bar on the right from the flight with the AS329. I was in the red always and way too slow. And these are fours from Stefan's flights from VGC. And you can see the vertical bars not always match with the vertical ones, but he's almost everywhere in the greens. So on this flight, on the left-hand side, he was optimal flight in the speed. On the right side, and only one time he was too slow. So we have some more features in the premium. For example, thermal replay, where you can just load every thermal of the day in your flight pass, and it's quite nice to see if you missed any thermals on your flight. The map, yeah, it's the map of shame a bit, yeah. Maybe I can show you later when I hover through my barogram. The same we do with gliders, so you can load every glider of this day on your flight track and give them different labels. For example, the average speed they flew at that time you were there as well, and it's quite good for finding out which gliders were fast in your area at this time you were there too. So quite good for analyzing as well. So now a short introduction to WEGlide Copilot. It's also in your SSA subscription already, so it's free for you. And it's also in the LX integrated now. So if you go to LXNav Connect and enter your WEGlide SSA subscription, you will get some maps of Copilot into your LX as well. It's for LX 9000 and 1970, I guess. So what was the idea behind WEGlide Copilot? It was always a dream for us to use all the data which gliders are producing during flight to create maps out of it. This one is the live netto air mass. So it's like the energy lines gliders are finding during their flight. And we take all this data from the gliders and generate a chart from it. It looks a bit like a forecast map, but it's a live map. It gets updated every 2 minutes and sent to your phone. So you're always up to date where the good and fast lines are. This is an example from Germany on a quite good day. And you always should aim for the yellow lines, so there's the energy. And I mean, decisions are quite easy then when you see all the yellow lines where to fly. We do the same with the thermal height. So we use the data from the gliders to calculate the actual thermal height. It's also updated every 2 minutes. It's quite awesome for flying in the Alps where the sight and the distance is always, there's always a ridge in the way or something like that, and you don't see how high cloud bases are. So you can use Copilot for that. And also for cross-quantity flying in the flats. You see here a Beispiel, example from Moritz. Yellow is also higher thermals and greens are lower thermals. And Moritz saw that quite early and set his flight a bit more south to have more options, because when you have higher thermals, you can do longer glides and find better thermals. And it resulted in a 1000K flight. Yeah, to be fair, the maps work better when there's more data. And of course, in the US, it's less traffic than in Germany or in Europe. So these charts are not as powerful here as in Germany. But we offer some more live products which could be helpful for competition flying here in the US. So we have the live thermals. They are updated every second. We have the green thermals. They are active. You can see it here on the phone on the right side. And we got the gray thermals. They are inactive. So we show them 10 minutes after the glider leaves the thermal. And you can also try to fly there and get the thermal. You can tip on each thermal to get more details. It looks like this. So if you tip on one, you can see for how long it's inactive. So this one is inactive for 5 minutes. You can see what the average climb rate was. It was 4.5 meters per second. And you also can see in which height and which altitude the glider entered the thermal. So that's quite awesome for competition flying when you see all the thermals before you. We also provide satellite imagery. In the US, they are HD and update every 10 minutes. Get it on your phone or on your LX. We have an integrated rain radar. You can use the loop to see how fast fronts are moving or the weather is moving in general. And it's quite awesome for routing. So I do a lot of free flying in Germany. And if I see a nice line in front of me or a nice cloud street, I always did a lot of deviation during flight. So now in Copilot, we also implemented a go-to function. So I always look at the satellite pictures and look for nice lines. Then I go to a waypoint near there and only click go-to, and then you get the bearing. And it's really quick. So you don't have to move something on your LX or stuff like that. Just tip on your phone. You can also implement tasks. If you are a competition flyer, you just declare the task on WEGlide, search it in the Copilot, and load it in. So quite easy as well. What you also can do is to mark gliders. So if you are interested in a certain glider and the live tracking, you just click on the glider. You can see here you get some detailed information about this. It's ASG 29 in this case. You get the altitude and the XT distance he's flown already. And if you want to mark them, you click mark them and it got highlighted like a circle. You can see it here on the right-hand side. And if you want to unmark them, you click just unmark them. So quite easy as well. You see here a new chart we created. In the background, it's a thermal hotspot chart. At the moment, it's only available in Europe. It's based on 10 million thermals. And we use high quality data only. So we filter out the local flights and XT flights below 300 kilometers, because we won't only have the thermals, the decent thermals from pilots who want to fly fast. Yes, and for the US, we need more data to create these charts. So please feel free to upload your flights, even your historic ones. You can do bulk uploads, so just put in a whole ordner and put it in. And yeah, that's all. So enjoy WEGlide, upload your historic slides, and visit us at our booth if you want to, if you have any questions. Thank you.